Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and you know what time it is. It's time for Robe Chronicles. I am here to give you a recap on the last episode of Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 12. All right, so this episode, I'm gonna be honest, these episodes are getting more and more boring. I wish it wasn't the case, but here we are. I'm still going to recap them for you. I really hope that whatever comes next season, that the producers, casting truly try to match people who like each other and are attracted. Like, don't do no twist where someone says, I don't like bald men and give them a bald man, or I don't like thick girls and give them a thick girl or skinny girl. Just really try to stick to these people's specifications so we could get a season in which people are genuinely attracted. We could see attraction growing. We could see them having fun and loving on each other, because that's really what I want to see. And like I said, in previous seasons, even if people weren't like perfectly compatible, they tried because they were like attracted to the person. But it seems like now we're just getting worse and worse. And sometimes you think someone's going to be attracted to somebody and it just doesn't happen, which is fine too. But if I specifically say, I don't want somebody with snaggle teeth, and you give me someone with snaggle teeth, okay, right? So anyways, this episode, we get Nicole and Chris and her dad. They go do goat yoga. Supposedly Nicole's dad is not feeling this whole process and his daughter getting married at first sight. But we also find out later on that Nicole wasn't really close with her dad growing up because the parents divorced and like she stayed with her mom. So maybe this is her trying to build that relationship. Maybe she thinks that's the reason why she hasn't had successful relationships, right? She didn't say that, but maybe that's a feeling that she has, and that's why she's trying to have her father so involved with this process. Kirsten and Shaq then go meet with Dr. Pepper. And I don't know if I was the only person that noticed this. They asked Kirsten, like, what's a thing from your childhood that makes you feel like it's holding you back in this relationship or something to that effect. And Kirsten is like, well, I think she said she didn't have a dad or her dad wasn't around. Or I honestly, I don't even remember what she said. But whatever she said seems so irrelevant to their relationship and them getting along. And then they go and ask Shaq a similar question, and he also says something that I don't think was relevant to the situation. I'm like, if y'all want to get y'all sob story out, go ahead. But that ain't got nothing to do with why this marriage particularly isn't working. Y'all have issues that neither one of you want to address. And either it's Kirsten not being attracted to Shaq, or Shaq not being attracted to Kirsten, or not liking having his ego bruised. So I was really glad that Dr. Pepper said that. Dr. Pepper was like, do you think that because of how she approached you in the beginning, like not being attracted to you, whatever, is the reason why now you feel like you gotta pull away or withhold your love, or, and I was like, thank you, Dr. Pepper. Like, y'all experts don't be saying too much right stuff, but you hitting it on the head right now. Like, his ego has been bruised, and now he's trying to let Kirsten know she ain't really that girl. And it's like, why? You want her, you want to kiss her, you want to enjoy her. So why are you holding back now? Like, just be happy that she got to the point where she finds you attractive and enjoy. Clint is talking to his friend, and surprisingly, Clint's friends and family give him very good advice, which is not what I expected from the people that he knows. I don't know why, but I didn't expect that. And he actually gave him good advice about, being patient and working with her, and, just giving her that time to get to the crust and all that stuff. And I was just genuinely surprised that Clint and the people around him are more understanding. And maybe because he's 40, right? Maybe they see this as like, okay, Clint, go ahead, get married and stay married. So that might be the case, but that was actually kind of cool. Watching Eris talk is just boring. Like, he might be a really nice, fun guy, but watching him, his face is so expressionless. He doesn't open his mouth wide enough for me. Like I said, I don't fault him because, you know, if you guys remember Chris and Paige from, I think, season 12, Chris told Paige that he did not find her attractive, yet he slept with her, had relations with her every night. So I could see how that's confusing. Whereas Eris is more so like, okay, I don't really find you attractive. And he's keeping that boundary. Like, I'm not going to sit over here and play you and have sex with you every night, but also be telling you I don't find you attractive. That's silly. And that's like a child's game. So I will give him credit for that, and I will continue to give him credit for that. But I do think that Jasmine is actually quite pretty. I was looking at her because she had no makeup on, I think just lashes. And I was like, you know, she's a pretty girl. Like, you know, Eris, I don't know, maybe her being skinny is a really big issue to you, but she's a pretty girl. And it was crazy because when they were talking to Dr. Pepper, she goes into this long talk about how she like has finally just started loving herself, and meeting someone like Eris who doesn't value you or value your look is hard for her. And I get that. I completely understand that. I feel so bad that they would match her with somebody that would do that to her, because getting to a place where you love yourself is actually very, very, very difficult. And I can imagine that most people have not reached that place in life. So I understand where she's at. And it's sad that she definitely has to be matched and put into this situation where she has to question, am I beautiful? Am I enough? Am I that person? So I definitely feel really sorry for her for that. And I'm not saying, and like Dr. Pepper said, have you ever thought that it's not about you? And that is a very easy thing to say, but it's like he already told her that he's not attracted to her. So even if you're like, oh, it's not about you, but he already said he don't think I'm cute. So that's always going to be at the forefront of my mind. And so I get it, right? And then Eris goes on to explain that I guess he's had a lot of loss in his life, and people that he gets close to or his friends to have passed away, committed suicide, whatever. And that actually makes sense, right? Like when they talked about their issues, it made sense to the marriage. When Kirsten and Shaq talked about their issues with Dr. Pepper, I'm like, okay, what's going on? But that makes sense. Think about every person that you have allowed yourself to get very close to passes. It's like, well, maybe I don't want to get close to people, right? And then it kind of makes sense why this 39-year-old man has never had a serious relationship and has never been serious in 39 years, because he thinks, I mean, he needs help and he should work on that and definitely go to therapy. But it's like, you can kind of connect the dots as to why maybe that person behaves the way they do. But I'm not sure that's what keeps him from Jasmine, right? So I think that that is a valid response and a valid answer, but I don't think that's the reason why him and Jasmine don't work. I think the reason why him and Jasmine don't work is because he doesn't find her attractive. So they're not going to work because he doesn't like her. Sad, but it is what it is. Nicole and Chris meet with Dr. Pepper. They don't really show too much of their conversation with Dr. Pepper because their relationship is progressing well. Nicole has a lot of issues, which makes so much sense as to why she's kind of behaving the way she does, because of in her mind and what has gone wrong in her past, I think. But I think that, again, for what it's worth, from what we see on camera, Nicole is really putting in that legwork to have a relationship that works. And I appreciate that. And Chris is that good guy who's trying to have boundaries. And I think that for the first time, he's found the girl that he should have been treating the way he's treated all those other girls. And Nicole is being that person. I think Nicole has finally found the guy that she should submit to or be in love with and give herself to. But now, because of the traumas of Pat, like both of them, they're trying not to give into their old ways, because they're like, well, that burned me. Whereas like, this might be the person that you can do that with and be successful. So I think that's their problem, is they're both trying so hard not to be who they were when they could actually be who they were with the person that they have right now, and get a good result, right? Not just be that person, but actually get a good result in a working relationship. Kirsten wants Shaq to take the lead. I mean, I could definitely see that in her. She definitely seems like a girl that wants, like, especially because, like I said, she's so beautiful, and she probably is used to people telling her that she's beautiful, and men coming on to her, and men being aggressive, and her turning down the advances or letting them pass if she wants them. So I think Shaq not doing that was probably like different. Like, okay, I'm fine, come hop on it. And he wasn't doing that. So she wants that from him, which is good. But I also think that, you know, Shaq doesn't do that because he thinks he's a prize. I'm not saying he's not a prize. That's not what I'm saying. But he thinks he's a prize. So he's like, Kirsten, you should be all over me. And it's like, maybe, maybe not. I also feel like Jasmine is checking out of her marriage because they did the little question thing where they pulled questions from the jar that the experts gave them, and they would answer them. And they're asking all these deep questions, and Kirsten said she wanted a deep conversation, and she had nothing for him, literally nothing. But I think for her, as someone who falls in love easy, she doesn't even want to go down that path with somebody who has already said he doesn't like her, doesn't find her attractive. She doesn't want to go down that path of becoming vulnerable to someone for them to be like, well, I didn't really like you. I was just doing it for the show. And I think that's why she's kind of like checking out a little bit, because she's trying to keep herself from doing that and like falling for someone, because she knows she falls easy. So if she becomes vulnerable and he's vulnerable back, she's gonna maybe start falling for him. And he's already said, this ain't it. But he also said maybe they need that similar connection to like, maybe he'll like her and attraction won't matter. But men are not good people, so I don't trust that. Clint and Gina, they're trying to have more fun, but this isn't friends at first sight, right? Like I think I've said it in probably every video I've made, Gina and Clint should be the couple that like works, like this should work. But I think Gina is holding herself back. I can't tell you for what reason, but I feel like if you knew that was how you were gonna come into this show, you shouldn't have done it. She pisses me off for that. Like, y'all should have just hopped right in. Like when they went to go talk to Dr. Pepper, she was like, oh, I had a single mom, and so I'm more vulnerable with women, and that's who I feel comfortable coming out with, and I want him to just ask me questions. I'm not somebody who will just talk about it if there's no lead up or no this, I just won't bring it up. And I'm like, well, have you thought that's probably why you're single? Maybe you should change how you behave. You're 35 years old, you're not married, but you want to be married, right? So if you're 35 years old and you don't care about how things are, then there's nothing to change, correct? Like, that's fine. No big deal. But you are at the point where you're like, I want to be married. I want to have a relationship. I want to work with somebody and bond. But you don't expect to have to alter anything about yourself. So far, no one has liked you as you are enough to marry you. I'm not saying that you're unmarriable or you're not a good person, but I'm just saying that wouldn't you say like, this behavior that I've used for the past 35 years has not really worked for me. So let me find a new way to go about doing things. That's what you would think. But that's not what she's doing. She wants to dig her heels in even deeper and not change and not be any different and make it difficult for Clint and just be like, oh, he's a really good friend, we're cool. When really you should be becoming vulnerable and open to somebody so you could actually have a true relationship. I don't know, she bothers me for that reason. Nicole, like I mentioned before, is just scared that this happy bubble they have is gonna burst. And you know, the truth is, it is gonna burst. Not the fact that they're a good couple, but like this beginning honeymoon phase, yeah, it'll go away and you're gonna be living day to day with this person. So it won't be that warm fuzzy. They're gonna piss you off. Bad things are gonna happen. You guys are gonna argue, and that's okay. But if you build a foundation that is strong and you guys love each other and truly, truly commit to that relationship, then you'll be fine. It's okay. That's anybody I've ever spoken to that is married and has been married a very long time has always said the same thing. You choose to be married every single day. That is a choice. It is not something that you can put to the back of your mind. You are choosing that. You are making that active choice each day to be married and to commit to that person. So even though bad things happen, you still choose that person. And so I think Nicole needs to view it that way. Jasmine's mom came to me with Eris, and he's trying to figure out how to get more out of her, and the mom's trying to figure out why they aren't having sex. And honestly, Mama Jasmine, why? Why do you want your daughter to have sex with somebody who has already said he's not attracted? I'm sure. And if your daughter didn't tell you that, then she's silly. Because why is she telling you that y'all not having sex, but she didn't tell you that he doesn't find her to be attractive? Because why would you even ask that after knowing that he said he doesn't find her attractive? Doesn't really make sense to me. But you know what? I don't think that's important. I just think that she was very useless for the 3 minutes that she was on screen, because he's like, oh, if you ask her again, like, you don't think he's done that? Or maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But it just seemed like she didn't provide any value. But the truth is, I don't know if he really wants the advice, right? Or maybe he does. Who knows? He did it. I don't know if it was set up by the show or what, but I definitely think that it looks like Eris is putting in more effort, but I don't think Jasmine should put in any more effort, because at this point, I just feel like it's a waste of time. We're just going to ride out the next 4 weeks and hopefully enjoy, what happens on decision day when they say no, is what I hope. But you never know. Gina and Clint have a deep conversation with the questions that they put in a jar. She's answering the question because something specific was asked, but I just don't like Gina's behavior. I think she needs to open up more. And if she ever watches this, I hope that's what she takes from this experience, that I need to allow myself to open up more without being prompted. Simple. Kirsten and Shaq, okay, they get to body painting. And then after painting Kirsten's body, they get to kissing. And let me tell you, Kirsten is every bit of the bad kisser that she said she was. That was the most awkward kiss that I had to watch on my television screen. I was like, is it because she got a strawberry in her mouth? Is it because of the whipped cream? Like, I'm trying to rationalize it, but it looks so awkward. I was like, oh, maybe she wasn't lying, because this looks awkward. I feel awkward, and I'm just a watching participant. Like, it was not, okay, girl. But suck it now. I'm happy. I think that the couple should experience the marriage in its entirety. I believe in that. Like, I'm not saying that you have to have sex with everybody. Like, I don't think Jasmine should have sex with Eris because he's already said he doesn't find her to be attractive. But I think that if you are entering a marriage, like, a lot of people are willing to sleep with strangers on the first night that they meet them. So now to be married to somebody for 8 weeks and be like, ooh, I'm not having sex with you now. Come on now. Get it together and get off the show. Because that's not what we're here for. We're here to say here that you tried, you did everything you could, and it just didn't work. And that's fine, right? But not the people that are not even doing anything, just looking to gain followers at the end of this and become an influencer or build their hair salon or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But either way, let's see what happens next episode, right? We all just waiting because there's scenes that they've showed us that we want to know what really happens in them, right? So that seems like the exciting part, right? Like, what's going to happen in these scenes that they're showing us that are to come. And the thing is, I have a feeling that they're not actually to come in this season, but after Decision Day, right? Like Max saying he hopped in Gina's DMs and stuff like that. Like, that seems like something that happens after Decision Day, but they're trying to play it like it happened during Decision Day. They haven't shown the clip of Dom kissing Clint again since episode 3 or 2, so it's like, okay, did that really happen? Are y'all cutting that out? Are y'all showing it at all? Like, I don't know. But you know what? I will be back again next week, and I hope you guys are back again to watch. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, especially heavy on the subscribe. I'll be back with another episode, and I hope to see you guys then. Bye.